On this episode of Simply, we're taking the plunge in Wellesley for EB research. Then we're getting creative in Pawtucket at the bench. It's always snack time at Roger Williams Park Zoo. We'll roll the dice at untapped games. All before we hit the buzzer on an all-new Keep On Cookin'. Simply New England is brought to you by Cranston's Wines and More. Hey folks, I'm Becky Gibble and this is Simply New England. And as everyone knows, April is the bridge to spring. So to celebrate, our show is all about delight, deliciousness, and Dungeons and Dragons. Confused? Stick around. It'll all make sense soon. Hey folks, I'm here at Lincoln Woods Beach because I'm about to take the plunge. Why, you may ask? It's for a good cause. Let's learn all about a remarkable young girl named Elodie and the growing community of folks who love her.
Welcome to the 6th annual Plunge for Elodie!
Today is the Plunge for Elodie.
We are at the 6th annual Plunge for Elodie, and all of the proceeds from this event benefit the EB Research Partnership, the EBRP, and it's all for the rare disease epidermolysis bullosa.
EB is a life-threatening, devastating genetic skin disease that affects children from birth.
People with the disease are missing a critical protein that produces collagen, so they have no collagen in their skin.
The subtype that Elodie has, only 1,500 people in the country have. She's missing a critical protein which helps bind the layers of the skin together. So she wounds easily and has super fragile skin.
Kids that battle EB spend their day with hours of bandaging, bleach baths, doctor's appointments. The thing that gives us hope and optimism is EB is caused by one genetic mutation that we know. We believe with support of events like this, like Plunge for Elodie, we can treat EB by the end of this decade. So our bold, audacious mission is to cure EB by 2030 and lead the way with an innovative model that can help millions of people with rare disease.
This event started in 2018 with a goal of raising $15,000, and look at us today. We are closing in on $2 million raised for the cause.
My friends from high school, after Elodie was born, they wanted to help us in any way that they could, and I said, please help me cure this disease.
We wanted to make a splash for the cause, and it just organically came that a plunge was the perfect thing. And we're now in our 6th year, and every year it gets bigger and more exciting.
It started on this beach with, about 20 people.
And it just sort of exploded, honestly, from there.
And we now have satellite plunges around the globe. We have 10 satellite plunges and all involve EB families, which is so exciting.
And really people were inspired to do something that is fun, that you can really rally your community. And this event has raised almost over $2 million for research and science to treat and heal EB, and it all started right here on this beach. Plunge for Elodie is such an amazing event, and I think it speaks to what communities can do to drive change. What we learn from Elodie and all young people that face EB every day is strength, courage, hope, optimism. Elodie wakes up every day and she has fight, so that gives us fight and motivation and hope to do what we can and contribute our skills and our talents to finding a treatment for Elodie and all kids like her that battle this disease.
Rare diseases, most people haven't even heard of EB. It can be really challenging for them to raise money to fund critical research. Every dollar counts, truly. And we just so appreciate the support and take a plunge. It can be a bucket of water over your head. It can be in a very cold pond like this one. Anything counts.
Please join us, learn more about Plunge for Elodie at plungeforelodie.org and EB at ebresearch.org.
Hey folks, for our next story, we head to the bench. But something tells me I went to the wrong location. What we're looking for is a jewelry workshop in Pawtucket. So you'll go on ahead and I'll regroup and meet you over there.
My name is Patrick McMillan. I'm a jeweler and metalsmith, and we are at the Bench Jewelry and Metalsmithing Studio in Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
The Bench is a jewelry collaborative space. People come here to either rent the space to make their own jewelry or come to take classes and learn how to make jewelry. We've got a decent range of classes, from long form 6 to 8 week intro classes where you can learn all the basics of jewelry making, to intermediate where we go into some of the more technical, in-depth deep dives into techniques, or one-shots where you can learn how to make things like just a ring in a day or a pendant in a day.
And then the other room is our shared studio space where permanent jewelry residents can get a private bench with a tool cart and access to the studio for 24/7 so that they can kind of pick up and do their work when they need to.
The class tonight is the Introduction to Jewelry class. Students learn the basics about jewelry making and work with copper, brass, and silver.
The classes are pretty much for anybody. We do kind of focus a lot on making things very introductory.
The intro class is one of my favorites to teach because they get such like a breadth of working with the material.
There is this really great sort of sense of like wonder and awe when someone comes in and takes just raw materials and walks out with a precious object that they get to wear. And that's one of the things that I really look forward to when I'm teaching, is that moment when someone just like sees the finished object coming together.
It's always fun. I always get excited when I see, people in here for the first time and they're, making their first silver ring, or, they're making pendants. They get really excited, especially like the goal is to always have something that they can complete.
I love that this is a space for jewelers specifically. Here we are focused entirely on jewelry making and the creation of precious objects. And I really, really love that. I've fallen in love with the medium and love seeing it being promoted and celebrated.
For me, the most exciting thing is really having like the collaborative aspects. Oftentimes as jewelers, we're working alone, so having the opportunity to have other jewelers in the space and be able to bounce ideas off of them, it's really helpful and takes your own personal work to the next level.
I want people to know that the Bench is a place where they can come and feel welcome, even if they're a beginner or if they're an experienced jeweler, where they can come and find community and they can find instruction and they can find an outlet for that creative drive.
There's a really good creative outlet in this studio and even in our building. It's becoming a nice little hub here, and I'm really happy to be a part of it.
Man, I think I did it again. How many benches are there in New England? You can learn about upcoming workshops on their website. Stick around, we'll be right back. Hey Siri! Out and About is presented by Harbor One Bank. Hey folks, welcome back. All that creative spark really makes me hungry. I've never liked eating alone. Let's head over to Roger Williams Park Zoo and see if George will give us a bite of whatever he's eating.
Hi, my name is Michaela and I am an Animal Ambassador Specialist here at the Roger Williams Park Zoo. And right here we have my friend George, the prehensile tailed porcupine. George is snacking on some sweet potato now, but we also have some other snacks for him as well. Our job is to bring these ambassador animals out to meet people, whether it be on grounds, schools, camps, and people can get in close proximity with him to learn more about him. So in the wild, they are nocturnal. Looks like he wants his banana. Which means that they are awake mostly at nighttime. Since George goes out on a bunch of different programs, he is acclimated to being awake during the day, like right now. He does, as you can see, have a lot of quills. a really important adaptation to help him defend himself. And his quills are made out of the same stuff that our hair and nails are made out of, just a lot harder. And there is a common misconception about prehensile tailed porcupines and their quills, that they can shoot them out, and they actually cannot shoot them out. Their quills do fall out just like when we shed our hair, and they can get stuck inside a predator if they come too close, or if we come too close, they could get stuck inside of us. So that's a common misconception people have. So when the weather is nice, sometimes George gets to go out and meet people on grounds here at the zoo. So the next time you're here, you might be able to see him on a really nice day.
Hey folks, I'm here in Lincoln at Fundati Coffee, where they roast their own beans and only source sustainably, so you can feel good about your brew. I know I do. And I'm guzzling caffeine because I'm headed out for a big night at Untapped Games. I think I'm gonna win. Let's check it out.
I'm Nate. I'm the owner of Untapped Games. We're a game store in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, right over the Providence border.
We're mostly a card game and board game store, kind of like a hobby shop. And then if anyone's a fan of board games, we have board games ranging in various difficulties, whether it's going to be a 5-minute game that anyone can play or a 8-hour game that's more for the adults. We have it pretty much all here.
We host a lot of game nights, so people come here to play Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Today's Wednesday, and here at Untapped Games, they host Dungeons & Dragons for any individuals who wish to come and play.
So people basically team up. One person is the Dungeon Master, and it's basically a game where you use your imagination and go on adventures. So we have multiple tables. It's a very popular night. Usually it's pretty busy.
So I prefer the more involved games. I play card games competitively, and I used to play board games at a tournament level, so working here was pretty easy for me.
Well, I used to really love Settlers of Catan. That's one of my favorites. But more recently, I really like co-op games. Maybe it's a little taboo nowadays, but I love Pandemic. That's a fantastic game.
I mainly play Magic the Gathering for things other than this. It's fantastic. It's both this, Magic, another marvelous game, all of which I buy here. It's phenomenal.
Personally, I definitely like the community that we have here. Every single weeknight there's a different game going on, and then on the weekends we have the different events, whether it's a card tournament or just a board game club meetup or something like that.
Especially for kids, we have Pokemon Club on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. That's free. I think it's especially good for kids. They learn social skills and math skills. And
it feels like we kind of have a bigger community sense where really every customer here feels pretty loyal to the store, and then as an employee, we obviously want to take care of them as much as we can.
And we try to make everybody happy. Some people are casual, some people are hardcore.
Untapped Games is pretty easily one of the best card shop, game shop, just in general, stores within Rhode Island. You easily make back what you spend in cash with genuine enjoyment and love of the hobbies you play.
You could visit untappedgames.com. We also have a presence on social media. We have a Discord channel where the community comes together. And then I hope you'll come by and visit us.
I mean, the possibilities for fun, pretty much endless. Assignment for your break: Google Pokemon Gibble. My husband insists it looks like me. I'll let you decide.
Mindy is a lesser sulfur-crested cockatoo who was hatched in 1997, and she lived with her previous owner for 10 years. She was never really in her cage. She had different setups around the house where she'd hang out with her owner. I know she loved traveling around in her birdie backpack with her owner. Her owner would go to Renaissance fairs and was very big and theatrical, which is kind of how Mindy is. So if you have a big personality and kind of love to go on adventures, Mindy would fit right in. So she just wants to be a part of the family. If you want to learn more about Mindy and the adoption process, please contact us, riparrots.org, where we'll have information about our volunteer program and our adoption program and how you can help our mission.
Keep on Cookin' is brought to you by Cranston's Wines and More. Hey folks, I'm incognito here in Lincoln outside Hartley's because I'm doing recon on our next story. Now we here at Simply love asking the hard-hitting questions. And this episode's hard-hitting question is it pie? To get a lighter angle on that question, we head over to Chef Nick. Nick, take it away.
Live from Television City in Rutherford, Rhode Island, it's America's favorite game show, Keep On Cookin'. And now, here's your host, Nick Raymer.
Thank you, Rod, and thank you all for joining us today on Keep On Cooking, the only show that refuses to stop preparing cuisine. I'm your host, Nick Raymer. Now let's meet today's contestants. First up, today's challenger, former New England Patriot, owner of 212 Health and Performance, Mr. Kerry Taylor. And now our champion, the in-arena host for the Boston Bruins, Miss Michaela Johnson. Our first game, you know it, you love it. It's called Is It Pie? Michaela, our champion, you're up first. 30 seconds on the clock, starting now.
Pie. Not pie? Definitely not a pie. 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 Pie?
Not bad at all, Michaela. 6 correct. Next up, our challenger, Kerry. Put 30 seconds on the clock, starting now.
Pie. Not pie. Definitely not a pie. Pie, I ate that last night. Pie. Pie.
Oh, so close, Kerry. Kerry got 5 correct. Not bad, Kerry, but our winner of this one, Michaela. And speaking of shepherd's pie, let's see how to make it. All this talk about shepherd's pie, how about we do something a little different and make some shepherd's pie meatballs? I'm gonna start with some olive oil. I've got some beautifully cut carrots. And of course, some finely chopped onion. Got some corn kernels here, fresh off the cob, and some fresh chopped garlic. Let's give that a mix. Let's season them up with a little bit of salt and some of that fresh cracked black pepper. Once those vegetables are cooked, let's get them out of there so they don't overcook. You can't have shepherd's pie without the meat. I've got some ground beef here. Let's keep it moving. Let's go on with a little bit of salt, some pepper. Now something that's very common when you're making shepherd's pie, Worcestershire sauce. Now you want a little bit of fresh herbs, tons of parsley. How about some thyme and rosemary? Now, we bind meatballs with breadcrumb. So let's go with the breadcrumb. That's gonna absorb a lot of that moisture in there. And even though ground beef is a ton of protein, a little bit of egg is gonna help bind that together. Okay, you have all those vegetables that have cooled. Put those in there. Now that really does look like shepherd's pie. Now let's go ahead and mix it up. All right, mix is ready. Let's get rolling. All right, let's just keep on rolling. Go ahead and roll them out and fill that pan. And now that these are ready to go, you can either bake them or you can do what I'm gonna do here today, and that's sear them. Let's load up that pan. Shepherd's pie is a nice hearty meal. So let's make sure shepherd's pie meatballs are as well. Now let's give these a little turn. They may stick a little bit, but that's okay. They're caramelizing beautifully. All right, so these are almost done. We're gonna pull them out of the pan and then we're gonna finish by braising them in a little pan gravy. So it's not shepherd's pie without a nice, rich, beefy gravy. Let's start to go back in with these well caramelized, delicious shepherd's pie meatballs. We're gonna go right to plate now. You cannot have shepherd's pie without mashed potatoes. These are Parmesan potatoes. Got our meatballs. Let's go on with some of that delicious gravy. A little shepherd's pie must have, some fresh buttery peas, and a shower of fresh parsley to brighten it all up. And there you have it, shepherd's pie meatballs. It's a thing, who knew? Now back to the show. Well, that really does look delicious. This was a lot of fun as always. Thanks for joining me, and until we meet again, keep on cooking!
That seems like a pretty definitive answer. It is pie. Now I'm gonna try the home edition. Well, pie. Well, that wraps it up for us. Get outdoors, enjoy spring in full bloom, and we'll see you next time. Pie. It's all good.
Simply New England is brought to you by Cranston's Wines and More.
Hungry for more? Keep on cooking.
The only show that refuses to stop preparing cuisine. I'm your host, Nick Raymar.
Head to our Facebook page to watch more mini games like It Costs That Much?
Let's see what our first item is up for bid.
Can you guess the price of milk? How about this butter? Head over to Facebook for more bonus content.